So how are you going to play this? A lot of people are paralyzed when it comes to their actual investments, and we're talking crypto, we're talking stocks too as well today. We're going to be heavily looking at what's going on with the RSI. People are very confused. They don't know what to do with their money. They don't know what to do with their actual bags as well. There's a list of blockchains too that I want to get into that a lot of people are saying that are dead. There are 3 that I want to pluck off this list, but we're going to get into that. Good news when it comes to crypto privacy as well. Let's go ahead and get into the report.
Welcome to the Altcoin Hour, your weekly alpha. Yeah, we breaking down the charts, flipping bags, playing smart, from the dips to the moon shots, connecting all the dots. Let's get it. Altcoin Hour.
Right, so it's very interesting. I want to welcome you guys to the show too as well. Very interesting situation that we have ourselves in. And, you know, a lot of people are blaming Donald Trump for a lot of things right now. But I have to tell you, there's a lot more at play here, essentially. Now, it's easy to blame Donald Trump for what's going on. But when it comes to the crypto market, it's all about how you're moving. You have to adapt to the situation, okay? Because we know what's going on geopolitically. We do understand what's going on with the war and how it's affected not only stocks, but the whole thing across the board. It's negative. It's very negative. You're looking at Bitcoin. Let's go ahead and get into it because Bitcoin is scheduled. And a lot of people are expecting Bitcoin to drop all the way down to $61,000 going into the latter part of this week. Now, I don't necessarily see Bitcoin getting that low this week because of the institutional inflow, because of the actual amount of institutions that are holding this thing, right? Michael Saylor, you have the Winklevoss twins, you have a lot of other private investors and groups that are holding the bag. They're buying these dips as well. So you would have to have a mass exodus up top. And I just don't see that happening before we even get to 59K because a lot of these fund managers, including BlackRock, which is in a major kerfuffle, they're in big time trouble, guys. When it comes to private credit market that they actually facilitate, it's not looking good for BlackRock. Do they sell their actual BTC to stay afloat? I don't even know how that looks, but when it comes to the actual, customers, they want their money back. It's a very sticky situation when it comes to BlackRock. So, and they hold a lot of Bitcoin. They manage a lot of ETF. So we see that up top, all that weight, Michael Saylor, we have a bunch of private investors too as well. They continue to buy this dip and they continue to support the backbone of crypto. Let's go ahead and get into the altcoins real quick. So when it comes to the altcoins, I got to be realistic with you. It's not looking good for a lot of altcoins. XRP, a lot of losses there as well. We'll probably get into an article. I may just save that for the live tomorrow, but XRP, not too good for the XRP crowd. But when you're looking at this in a whole, you see a lot of red. BNB, $636. It's still trying to get back up to 700. You have Ethereum over $2,000, but there's some issues there. I just saw a report earlier about Vitalik and a lot of the Ethereum founders. They are dumping a lot of ETH, but as you can see, people are buying that dip. I'm not really worried about Ethereum, but the actual lesser altcoins, a lot of them are going to die. It is what it is. And we're about to take a look at the actual crypto RSI, because when you look at that graph, you can really see that a lot of people are paralyzed right now. They just don't know what to do. So you have a XRP $1.36, guys. Solana $84, trying to get back to actually $100. We'll see. There are some issues there. TVL looks good with Solana, by the way. But when it comes to the bottom line, a lot of the actual shrimps, they're leaving the party, man. So Tron, 28 cents, Dogecoin, 9 cents. We have a Cardano, 25 cents, down almost 10% within the 7-day period. A lot of these top fives, guys, top 10s and top 15s, they're not doing too well. They're not weathering the storm very well. And this is to be expected, essentially. You have Hyperliquid, a lot of grumbling there. It is up across the board, actually. $33 for that perp exchange. That coin is doing actually pretty damn good. It's actually in the middle of a group that is actually in the green right now. So you have Athena USD, which is an actual stable coin. It's actually slightly depegged there. Monero, we're going to talk about privacy in a minute. We had some great news that came out of Congress when it comes to privacy, when it comes to particular mixers. And I'm going to get into that because I think that is very, very robust news, very, very unique within this climate, and it's great news. We're going to talk about that. Chainlink still hovering around $8, which is very interesting to me as well. And we'll wrap it up with Stellar. All these altcoins, and by the way, Stellar is XLM, 15 cents. All of these particular actual altcoins, and we're talking the top 20. We'll stop at Litecoin, actually sitting at $54. I think it was well over $100. So when you talk about how far we fell, we have fallen, guys. The market is actually collapsing. So, and it's only Bitcoin that's holding these alts to where they are right now. What happens when Bitcoin goes to 59? I don't think it's going to go to 59, but if it does, these particular altcoins that we've just mentioned, they're going to go to all-time lows, guys. It is what it is. So let's go and look at the RSI. So I mentioned earlier, when it comes to investors in the space, in the crypto space. By the way, the stock market, it's bouncing just like the cryptocurrency market as well. It's all over the place. You have some green, you have some red, but at the end of the day, that is going to be dictated by what's going on in the White House. Now, when it comes to crypto, it's 24/7. So any type of movement on the bottom or at the top, it's going to register on a day-to-day basis. When you're looking at this RSI, I see, and you see a lot of gray. You see a lot of gray. I see a lot of investors that are confused. This is what I see when I look at this chart. A lot of confused investors. They're in the middle. They don't know what the hell to do with their money. They don't know if they should continue to hold. They don't know if they should actually get the hell out of the market, consolidate in some stable coins, get some yield while they still can before the Clarity Act passes, right? They don't know what to do. Now, we're talking about all the cryptocurrencies that are wrapped up into this particular index. This is basically telling me that you don't know what to do with your money. And I totally get it. This is a very, very fear-filled situation. No one knows what's going on in the White House. We don't know what's going to happen with the war. Oil prices are fluctuating to the point to where we may see $150 per barrel situation going into this weekend. We don't know. So what are you doing? What will you do if that happens? That is to be determined. You got to do that research and you got to move appropriately, and you just have to adapt to what Bitcoin is doing, because Bitcoin dictates what all these altcoins are going to do going forward. If Bitcoin goes down to 59, all these alts are going to go to the dirt, right? Only a few are going to survive this purge. So be mindful of what you're invested in. So let's go ahead and move to this before we get out of here. There's a couple of things I want to talk about before we close the video. One is Stacey Mears' post that was on X. Now, she's basically saying that these chains are dead. They're dead in the water. These are prominent altcoins as well. You're probably holding some of these, okay? I want to talk about this because I disagree with maybe 3 of these particular chains, and I'm going to tell you why. A lot of these chains that are on this list, I totally agree. They're going to die. They're probably already dead, right? But I want to read this. She says, these chains are dead. They raised $2.6 billion combined. They generated over $65,000 of weekly fees as well. $3.4 million per year across 15 chains. Now, here is the actual list. The 2 at the top, I totally disagree, especially with Monad, because it just launched going on, 4.5 months ago, okay, back in November. This chain is very robust. I wouldn't have deployed this. They had balls, but when I saw the actual full deployment, I totally understood why they deployed it. It's going to do very well. But unfortunately, it was launched within a very stormy climate when it comes to geopolitics. So I can't blame that on Monad. I think it's going to do very well. So I'm going to remove that from the list. Linea, I absolutely love this L2. And I have to tell you, this is going to be the only L2 that I would recommend, because it is going to be heavily used after we get over all of this tumultuous activity. When we get through all of the clouds, right? When we get through all of the language, war calms down, everything settles down. These 2, Monad and Linea, they really need to be removed from this list because they're going to do very well. Linea is actually going to be used for payments. Swift is going to be used in this technology as well. Swift network. I'm going to definitely remove these 2 from this particular list. They're not dead. All right. Now, as far as ZK Sync Era, Celestia, Scroll, I'm going to go ahead and leave those there. Mantra is completely dead. Plasma, I don't see that actually doing anything in the future as well. Barachain, I don't even know what the hell that is. So we're going to call that dead. IoTex, not too sure about that. I'm kind of on the fence with that. There's some utility there. Algorand is completely dead. Now, the Phantom Sonic situation, I think you have a full-blown identity crisis when it comes to Phantom. 2.0 is what I like to call it, the Sonic chain. Identity crisis. That dev team is going through a complete identity crisis. They don't even know what to do with that. It's very fast, very robust. I love the tech, but the dev team, they don't know what the hell to do with it, and they have no type of ground movement when it comes to the community. And I don't even know the direction of that. So I do agree with that. OG chain, don't know what it is, but it's probably going to die as well. Blast chain is a meme chain. That is dead. So I agree with the almost 80% of this particular list. You take out Monad and Linea and C chain as well. The SEI chain, I have to take this off. So my top 3 that I will remove are the C chain, Monad, and Linea. And the reason why I'm going to go with removing C chain is because it's going to be heavily leveraged in Japan. This is the darling chain of the country of Japan. They're going to be using this chain going forward, especially when they get all their language solidified. That chain, among other chains, and XRP, Ledger is going to be used heavily there as well. But this C chain, Linea, Monad, remove them from the list. They should not be on this list, but the rest, totally agree. So with that said, let's go ahead and move to the last part of the show. So I saw this on a pretty big page on X, looked it up, did some back research. It is actually the truth. Now, Bitcoin Magazine reported this earlier. Just in, U.S. Treasury reports to Congress that the usage of Bitcoin and crypto prophecy mixers are deemed actually legal. So they're not unlawful when you use these particular things. You're not committing a crime, right? So we had some issues with Tornado Cash. Samurai Wallet devs went to jail. They were fine. They got their money back, right? So the Tornado Cash thing was a big thing because those devs were actually incarcerated because of this particular situation. Now, you have to understand we had Gary Gensler back then. We had Biden, Choke Point 2.0, things of that nature. So there was a heavy squeeze on not only crypto mixers, but cryptocurrency as a whole. You have the banking blackout and all that good stuff. So this is really decent news because now we're turning the page, we're creating legislation, and the US Treasury just reported to Congress and said basically Bitcoin's privacy factors are not unlawful and pretty much every crypto mixer is deemed illegal. So if you're into privacy and you like using these mixers, you should love this news because you can use them now, especially in America. They're deemed unlawful activities, and I think this is absolutely amazing. So let's go ahead and close the show. So it's a very stormy atmosphere right now. Let me know what you're doing with your actual coinage and your tokenage. Let me know if you're moving out, if you're leaving the space, are you done? Are you invested in those dead chains or soon to be dead chains? Let me know how you're moving because if you're not adapting, you're probably running away from this space, all right? And that mixer news is really cool. Let me know how you feel about mixers being actually deemed a legal activity. We're going to be able to use them unabated. And the Bitcoin privacy factor too. Let me know how you feel about that. And we'll go ahead and get out of here. We'll see you tomorrow on the actual live. Be sure to subscribe. And don't forget to hit the bell too so you don't miss the updates, all right? Take it easy and we'll catch you later.